The jets are doing their daily freedom runs right now. I live by an airfield in Air Force Base. Wow, that was hard to get out. Hey guys, welcome back to the show that is my YouTube channel. I know I said I wasn't going to make too many serious videos on my channel, and I promise I'm going to venture into other avenues, but there's just some things that I need to talk about, okay? And obviously from the title, you have an idea of what it's going to be about, but the first however long of this video is just, there is a hair somewhere on my face, and I can see it and I can feel it. I just cannot find it. I look like an egghead with this beanie on. We might switch beanies. I don't know. I have some glasses. Those ones. Where was I? Right. I said I wasn't going to make too many serious videos on my channel, that this wasn't what I wanted my YouTube channel to be. But there's just some things that I feel like I need to talk about and I want to talk about. And the beginning of this video is just going to be me rambling, venting, and just kind of getting some things off of my chest. It has really nothing to do with the rest of the video. So I will put a timestamp here if you just want to get into what this actual video is about. The first thing I want to say is some of you people are so disgusting. And it's not just creators, like I called out in my last videos. Some of you that consume things on the internet, like YouTube, are disgusting. Some of you are so disgusting. And it's just mind-boggling because there's so many atrocities going on in the world. A lot of countries are in states of emergency. We are getting angry about somebody being fired from a media company or being let go from a media company and how that media company handled it. We are getting angry at tea channels and gossip YouTubers. We are spreading so much vile hate over gossip YouTubers when there's so many other things that we should be angry about. There are so many other injustices that we should be actually angry at. And going on Reddit right now is a nightmare. And I used to love Reddit and just kind of like being a part of a conversation, but you people are fucking disgusting. You are vile. Where did my voice just go? I used to so badly want to be a creator, not an influencer, but a creator. But you people are disgusting. You viewers are disgusting. I could never imagine saying some of the things that I've seen a lot of you say, a lot of people on the internet say. And it's just mind-boggling because you call out all of this shit and you villainize these people for the way that they handle things or the way that they say something or the way that they talk about somebody else. And it's like, look in the mirror, because if you are acting like you've never acted like that, if you are not owning up to the fact that you have, I know for a fact you've acted like that. I know for a fact you've been a piece of shit in your life. Nobody is perfect. We've all talked shit. We've all done horrible things. We've all handled situations poorly. Nobody is perfect, but you just want to just feel like you can villainize anybody and make them out to be these fucking monsters. And it's so gross. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not perfect. The things that I've been seeing online are just disgusting. I understand freedom of speech, whatever, but at what point do we just like remember if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. You can have criticisms, you can have opinions about the way a YouTube channel puts out content, you can have opinions about the way people handle situations. I'm not saying you can't, because constructive criticism is good for anybody, but saying nasty, horrible, vile things about people just because you can is really fucking gross. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about that. I just wanted to get that out of the way. A disclaimer I do have about the rest of this video and what this topic is: I will not be talking about somebody else's trauma. Point blank, period. Because the person that happened to has explicitly said, please don't. And I want to respect that, but I also want to talk about this person. And I will say that I am not defending anybody. I am not taking sides. I am, because I am on the actual victim's side. But one thing I do want to say is that if I had a friend, somebody that let me live with them when I had nowhere to stay, and they went through something horrible, there would never be any second guessing, even if me and that person were no longer. Even if me and that person. Are we done? We're not done. Okay. The Jets are doing their daily freedom runs right now. I live by an airfield in Air Force Base. Wow, that was hard to get out. I think they're done for a minute. There would never be any doubt that I support them and I believe them, and there would never be any speculation that I supported or even considered supporting the person that did that to them. It's fine. The lights got turned off. Ignore it. Even if me and the person that went through this were no longer friends, even if we had some massive falling out, whatever, it does not matter. No matter what that person did to me or what I felt like they did to me, nothing justifies that. And there would never be a realm of possibilities where that person would feel like I ever supported their abuser. Full stop. And that is not attacking anyone. That is not attacking anyone's character. That is just my own character and something I feel like I had to say. But anyways, we're now going to get into the actual scripted part of this video. So excuse the tone shift, okay? If you do not know who Gabbie Hanna is, let me tell you. I know that the internet has created hundreds of influencers, all right? I don't even want to call them influencers because they're not. They're content creators, and I don't consider them influencers. I feel like the Jets are coming back. Freedom. I kind of hope you can hear it because I feel crazy, but I'm just like, sorry, give me a second. Are we done? Have we had enough freedom for today? Good Lord. If I go outside when they're flying over, it literally sounds like they're trying to break the sound barrier. And I have no idea where I just left off. The internet has created hundreds of influencers, but very few have experienced the level of growth, admiration at one point, controversy, reinvention, and unbelievable scrutiny that Gabbie Hanna has. I am going to call her Gabbie Hanna throughout most of this video because I'm going through a timeline of her career. And during that time, she was Gabbie Hanna or The Gabbie Show. So please don't hop in the comments and be like, her name is Gabrielle. I cannot say her last name. Here come the Jets again. So Gabbie Hanna started on the internet very early on Vine. And if you don't know what Vine is, God bless. Good for you. I was never on Vine. I got into YouTube, like consuming YouTube, when she had moved over to YouTube. Vine had died and she was making viral storytelling videos. Gabbie Hanna has had a lot of viral storytelling moments with a lot of embellishments, obviously. She's had a lot of public creator conflicts and very public, serious conversations about mental health and online responsibility. Her journey, quite frankly, reflects both the opportunities and the pressure of internet fame. And when you mix the opportunities with the pressure in somebody who is already mentally unstable, it creates kind of a ticking time bomb. And you can't deny that. For anybody, nobody is completely 100% mentally stable. But when you add pressures onto them, it can be catastrophic. But what actually happened? How or why did the perception of Gabbie Hanna shift so dramatically over the many, many years that she has been on the internet? As Gabbie Hanna's audience grew, so did the complexity of her online presence. What began as storytelling and creative expression quickly have a moment of silence for the Air Force jets, because I cannot think while they fly over. This video is going to be so fun to edit. As Gabbie Hanna's audience grew, so did the complexity of her online presence. What began as storytelling and creative expression pretty quickly became intertwined with public disagreements, audience criticism, and the unique pressures that come with having personal experiences that unfold in front of millions upon millions of viewers' eyes and everyone else in that space. There isn't really one single moment, like defining moment, that really defines her reputation. It was more like a series of events that shifted the audience's perception and interpretation, and that collectively reshaped how she's been viewed online. To understand this shift of public perception and her career and how it's evolved, it's important to not only look at the controversies themselves, but how internet culture and platform dynamics amplified everything. Because on one side, I can understand where somebody wants to keep defending themselves for every little thing that has been seen as a controversy. But on the other hand, at some point, you just have to live and let live. And as I said at the beginning of this video, there would never ever be a time where your friend should ever think that you support somebody that hurt them, whether they are your friend or not. That's just not a good person thing to do. I am not here to judge anyone's character. I'm just saying that it doesn't really have to do with the commentary channels or the online viewers' perception. It really just has to do with how things are handled and this constant need to defend yourself at the end of the day. And you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't feel this incessant need to defend yourself. It's just a live and let live. Gabbie Hanna's internet journey is one that is, or well, used to be, interpreted in very different ways by just about everyone. I think now the collective has kind of been on the same wavelength about her, but I've never really seen any sort of, I don't want to say understanding, because that's not what she needs. Just more of a let live kind of situation. And I understand I'm adding to it by making this video, but let's face it, like I said, I'm trying to be a YouTuber, so here we are. Some viewers used to see just a creator that was trying to navigate the intense pressures of online fame, and we see that in her roast video and how she's kind of, and her her song Special in the music video, and she's kind of trying to relate to those viewers that see her in that way. And then we had the other side of it where people just wanted to focus on the controversies and how those moments affected audience trust and every piece of media that she put out, and whether or not it was calculated or it felt calculated or we just assume it was calculated. So let's go back to the beginning. Gabbie Hanna first gained attention in 2013 on Vine. She built a following through short comedic sketches and relatable humor. Racist humor I don't find funny, but she did gain a lot of attention through that. Her style really was exaggerated storytelling, observational jokes, and I'm gonna say it again, racist jokes. Just very weird, edgy humor that at the time I guess was popular. I don't know, but it really helped her grow rapidly before the platform shut down in 2017. Holy smokes. I thought it shut down sooner than 2017, but damn. Obviously, when Vine shut down, we all know that many of those creators took their career to YouTube, and Gabbie Hanna was one of them. On YouTube, she really became viral and noticed for her outrageous story times. These included personal anecdotes, college story times, friendships, awkward social encounters, awkward relationship encounters, dating encounters, things like that, and sometimes emotional reflection. We can all agree that her storytelling format, like many others at the time, really relied heavily on expressive delivery and very strong opinions, very outlandish, very crazy, very loud, very exaggerated. This made her content highly engaging and shareable. People wanted to watch and hear about these outlandish, crazy encounters that she had. That was the thing. That was what everybody loved at the time in 2017, 2016. YouTube, that and makeup. As her platform grew through 2017 and 2018, Gabbie then expanded into music and writing. She released a poetry book and began pursuing a music career, writing music, making YouTube videos, and just positioning herself as a positioning herself as a multifaceted or multi-platform creator rather than just strictly a YouTuber. Her music really focused on themes of insecurities, identity, relationships, and online scrutiny. I mean, again, let's go back to the song Special. I love that song. I don't know about anyone else. I don't know. It's my guilty pleasure. It's my guilty pleasure. I'm sorry. My cat's attacking me. This video's can you not? I'm trying to work. Can you come up here? Okay, we're just going to film the rest of this video with him in my lap because I can't do anything about it. Audience perception during this time was very mixed, with people appreciating the vulnerability while critics question artistic direction and marketing. They felt like it was a ploy or a tactic to make her seem more relatable, which if it feels relatable, then it is relatable. I don't know. We're going to do that. Okay. Are you gonna... During this kind of height of her career, early controversies did start to begin shaping her public narrative. One widely discussed situation involved the disagreements and the discrepancies with other creators regarding her storytelling and the inaccuracies and the interpersonal conflicts between her and other creators. These disputes were amplified by reaction content, commentary channels, and social media discourse, contributing to a shift in how audiences perceived her online persona, which is valid because commentary channels are allowed to exist. Hi, hello. But at the end of the day, you as a person, it is on you to form your own opinions and get all sides, except for the very one situation that I spoke about earlier that I will not speak about again. That one, full stop. We're going to ignore the cat. Commentary channels and reaction content should not dictate how you feel about a creator or a person in general. That's just my 2 cents. I could be wrong. I don't know. No, I'm not going to pet you. Benji, I'm trying to do something, Bobby. Bobby, no. Can you just sit up there and be a nice kitty? No, you can't sit there. In 2019, early 2020, tensions escalated through multiple creator conflicts. Some disputes involved former friends and collaborators that Gabbie had collaborated with and done projects with, discussing past experiences publicly, while Gabbie responded through videos, social media posts, subtweets, and live streams. These back and forth exchanges blurred the lines between personal conflict and public content. which became sort of the online theme in her online presence. Okay. Another major turning point that people still talk about today of Gabbie Hanna's career and the audience's trust in her was product endorsement. Some viewers question whether the promotion was adequately researched or responsibly presented. Gabbie later addressed the situation publicly, but the incident contributed to conversations about influencers' responsibility and audience trust, and how audiences interpret responsibility in sponsored content. We're all still talking about Lashgate. Even the brand is still talking about it, but hey, we all turned a blind eye about that, and we're still making her viral, but whatever. And so that's one of the things that blows my mind is we hold other people to different standards. It's so crazy. It's so crazy that we just hold these people to to different standards than we would hold ourselves or even another creator. Get your priorities straight, people. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on, Gabbie Hanna continued releasing music and video content throughout 2020 and 2021 that increasingly just continued to defend her perspective and to clarify past situations while continuing to discuss and beat to death the emotional impact that internet criticism has had on her. And I don't mean that in a bad way. People are allowed to express their emotions and feel the emotions that they're feeling. But at what point, again, do we say live and let live? At what point do we wash our hands of this? This era definitely featured longer, more direct react videos or response videos addressing controversies in detail from her perspective. Audience reactions varied widely. Some appreciated, again, the transparency and the vulnerability of an online creator, while others felt that it just continued to intensify everything, and rehashing it and reliving it just kind of, again, made some of the people involved relive that trauma when they didn't want to, and they wanted her to just stop. Now on to 2022, this is when things really, really shifted. And the concern for her shifted because of her online activity. It really started to increase in frequency and how many she was posting across mainly TikTok. A lot of people felt that the content and the rate at which she was posting was concerning and alarming and erratic. There was a widespread discussion about the creator well-being and the ethics of public speculation about mental health. Conversations during this time shifted from just the controversy alone to include empathy, boundaries, and the role that us as the audience plays in when creators appear vulnerable online. And that's still a huge discussion that needs to be had because we don't know these people. And I understand we all want to care in some way and help out, but these are people that we do not know. We should not be involving ourselves in their lives. They're grown adults that have a support system, I'm assuming. Just because they post online doesn't mean that they don't. But it is not our jobs to police what they post or don't post. Full stop. Now, following this period, Gabbie Hanna stepped back from consistent posting, and her online presence became noticeably quieter compared to previous years. There were times before where she had kind of disappeared and didn't post less often, but this was a big shift. And when she did finally return, the tone and subject matter of her content had shifted in a way that really stood out. Beginning in late 2022, when she started to become more visible again online throughout 2023 as well, Her content shifted quite a bit to incorporate religious themes, spirituality, and discussions about her faith. This included scripture references, personal interpretations of religious experiences, reflections on purpose and identity, and content that framed her life changes through a spiritual lens, and only a spiritual lens. For some viewers, the shift felt very sudden and kind of out of left field compared to her early days, her earlier identity as a comedic storyteller and a commentary creator, while others just interpreted the change as a continuation of her kind of long-standing pattern of emotionally reflective content, but just expressed through a different kind of framework, I guess. During this period, she was still sort of inconsistent, and rather than re-entering the influencer space through collaboration, commentary, or controversy responses, her content just focused more on personal expression, music, and faith-centered messaging. This trend has continued throughout 2023, 2024, and 2025. She's been posting a lot, and it felt, again, less like re-entry into the traditional influencer culture and just more like selective participation. And a lot of people speculate that she would only post and share her content when she wanted to promote a new song or a new album or what have you. I don't want to say that at the early stages of this, the public perception during this current phase was a lot more subdued, because it's grown quite a bit, but it was very divided in interpretation. Some viewers view the religious direction as evidence of personal growth, grounding, or an attempt to establish meaning outside of internet validation. And others remain cautious due to past controversies and feel disconnected from the newer content direction compared to what originally drew them to her channel or to her content. Overall, I think we can agree that her recent online presence, the podcast aside, reflects a broader pattern seen among long-term internet figures, where returning to platforms does not mean assuming the same role, but instead redefining identity, audience relationships, and the purpose of sharing content publicly. Looking at the broader timeline, Gabbie Hanna's internet presence reflects several reoccurring themes that are common amongst influencer culture. These include rapid platform growth, the difficulty of maintaining audience trust during controversies, the merging of personal relationships with public content, and the long-term effects of online conflict on not just a creator, but a human being's identity. I also want to point out that her story also highlights the evolving expectations placed on creators. I hate to say this, but we move the goalpost quite a bit as viewers. I've seen it. I've been on Reddit, bro. We move the goalpost constantly of what we expect out of creators. Early internet audiences often valued authenticity and emotional openness, while later phases of influencer culture introduce stronger expectations around accountability, research, and interpersonal conduct. The tension between vulnerability and public scrutiny appears frequently throughout most creators' careers. Whether viewed as misunderstood, controversial, resilient, or complex, Gabbie Hanna remains a notable example of how internet fame can evolve over time. Her trajectory illustrates both the opportunities and the challenges of building a career where the personal narrative and public perception is so closely intertwined. There's literally no separation. As online platforms continue to change, her timeline really does serve as a case study in creator reinvention, audience dynamics, and the lasting impact of internet discourse in general. What makes her timeline so interesting is that there isn't a single agreed upon narrative. There's no one box that just kind of encompasses all. It's a story shaped by platform culture, creator responses, and audience expectations, as well as the way internet history gets remembered over time. And I'm not saying that we're not remembering things wrong. That's not what I am implying here. I'm just saying that it's maybe how she remembers it. And yes, there are 3 sides to every story, yours, mine, and the truth. So I'm curious what you think. Do you see Gabbie Hanna's story as a cautionary tale about internet fame? An example of how online narratives can spiral, or something more complicated than either of those? I am on the side of it's more complicated than either one of those. It's a mixture of both. All of them. And it's a mixture of her own actions and the way that she handled things. I believe it is a lot more complex than any of us realize. Her mental health is not something that we should speculate on. We can all agree that how she's handled things was poor, but again, her mental health is not something that anyone should speculate on, and I think it is more complex. I also want to ask, looking back at the early... My freaking lash keeps getting stuck. And looking back at the early era of YouTube and Vine creators, do you think audiences have become more critical over time or just simply more aware? I again think it's a mixture of both. I think a lot of the audience has become more critical. We hold these people to a lot higher standards than we hold the people in our own lives, in our real lives, and that's sad. We should hold people that we care about more accountable than we do people that we don't know, have never met. I'd really like to hear your perspective, hear your thoughts, and especially if you've followed her career in real time rather than if you're just hearing about it now and you're discovering it later. I know that this video didn't get too deep into a lot of things that Gabbie Hanna has done because, again, I don't think it's my place to say that or to talk about it. But the main reason why I made this video is because I wanted to emphasize what I've always wanted to emphasize is that you don't know these people. You don't know online creators like that. You think you do because you see such a small part of their lives. But at the end of the day, you don't know these people. And you cannot hold them to a higher standard than you hold the people in your real life. Full stop. They are still human beings at the end of the day, and they do deserve some level of respect and privacy, and we can have criticisms and we can discuss it, but not in this discussing way that we have been. It's disturbing, and a lot of us need to take a look in the mirror and reevaluate how we talk about other people, whether we know them or not. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, this video is 52 minutes long. It's going to be hell to edit. Anyways, I'm hoping that I can make other videos that are not so... But I love you so, so much. I hope you're having a great day or night, wherever the fuck you're at in the world. Don't do anything I want to. Make good choices. Be nice, be kind, be gentle, and you will be seeing me in my next video. Bye.